Brad, teams obviously know Isaiah is the go-to guy in the fourth quarter. They still can't stop him. What does that say about him?
Well, I mean, I think it says a lot about him and the level that he's playing at, and it says a lot about the fact that he's got a lot of skilled guys around him that are hard to leave. You know, I think it's, when you're playing Kelly and Jonas together with him, there's a lot of space on the floor to operate. When those guys are at the 4 and the 5, when you're playing guys like Al Horford who can space the floor, Avery Bradley and Jay and, those types of guys, play through Marcus in the post, that allows him to have more space to operate. And he's playing at a remarkable level. So I don't know necessarily, what the answer is to that, but I think at the end of the day, I think that, it's a combination of a lot of things.
Coach, there was a time earlier in the season where you're actually playing him long stretches in the third quarter and then resting him at the start of the fourth. Obviously moved away from that. But how do you kind of judge his minutes in terms of trying to get him to play as much of the fourth quarter as you can, but also knowing that it's hard to go 12 minutes in a row sometimes?
No, I mean, it's not, the reason that we started doing this, I think it's been almost a month now, was just because it takes some pressure off our second unit to have to create offense. And so, him being in there with them again, takes advantage of their skill set and allows him space, because usually we have skilled bigs in at that time. So, I think that it's a good time for him to play, and most often we'll take him out for a stretch at some point in the fourth quarter, like tonight, a couple of minutes. And if you can combine that with that 5-minute timeout, it's another minute of rest.
Brad, is there ever concern, as well as Isaiah's going, that some of his teammates may look to him too much, or just expect too much the run he's on?
I think that at the end of the day, there's been enough examples of him making the right play for others and them being the guys that have made huge plays, that we trust that the right basketball play will be made. I truly believe that there's going to be a fourth quarter in the very near future where he has 5 assists and takes 1 or 2 shots, because that's the right basketball play to be made. But again, because of the floor spacing, because of who's around him, he's going to have some opportunities to score, and he's a dynamic scorer.
Coach, speaking of scoring, the last couple of games, Kelly Olynyk has really given you guys a nice lift off the bench. Why has he been so effective in terms of generating points for you guys?
Skill. And I think he's, he didn't do anything for 6 months as far as playing. So it was, and then you throw him into the NBA, and he, that's how he's getting his feet wet again. But I think he's a good fit with Al. I think he's a good fit when Al's on the bench. So he's a hard guy to not have. It's hard not to have one of those guys that stretches at the 3-point line on the floor all the time.
And Coach, just that 48, 49-second stretch at the end of the first where Jaylen really gave you guys a nice little...
I thought Jaylen did a lot of good things tonight. I thought his defense in the second half was really good, and I thought his offense was pretty consistent the whole night.
Brad, Isaiah has opened his game up with a three-pointer. He's shot nearly 50% in January, and he just seems to be so much more comfortable as a three-point shooter. What has that done to his game? How has that helped his offense and you guys as a team as a whole?
Well, I think the law of averages were going to kick in after the start of the season. He was down in percentage-wise, but that's continuously risen, which you knew would. But I think the biggest thing that Isaiah spent a lot of time on this summer, was getting the ball quickly off the floor into his shot. And, if you look around the league, some of the hardest guys to guard are those guys that can get it, in a millisecond off the ground into that smooth release and make shots, which is really hard to do from that distance. But he's put in a lot of time and effort to become better at that.
Brad, the difference with when Kelly's on seems to be, the naked eye, just him being assertive. Is that fair? And secondly, how much does that do for you guys when he is assertive? Because not only will he shoot, but he'll make the passes as well.
Yeah, we're going to be better when Kelly's playing better. There's no question about it. But I think that goes for a lot of the guys on our team. I think the threat of Kelly is still a significant impact when he's on the court. But obviously, when you're making shots and scoring the ball and able to roll and post, that's probably been the best part about the last two games was some of the baskets in the interior through contact against a switch or against a smaller player.
But just being assertive, I mean, is that
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's people figuring out each other's strengths and you know, playing together. And again, just like Isaiah's getting open opportunities when Jonas and Kelly are spaced, those guys get opportunities when he's driving, and other guys. Obviously, it all fits together.
Brad, Jaylen delivered a pretty powerful speech there before the game. Just what does it say about his maturity and his character that he's willing to step in and do that?
I thought that was great. I thought it was great, and you know, he went a little bit over his allotted time, I think, but I wish he would have kept going because I thought he did a terrific job capturing what I think we all feel, and you know, I thought it was extremely eloquently done.
I noticed Horford made an emphasis of going inside as well as making the jump shots. Is that just a matchup that was in his favor, or is that something that you're trying to have him do more often?
No, I mean, we're trying to play through Al in the post a lot. I think we've been pretty consistent with that, maybe a little bit more so in certain matchups. But if you're starting him at the 4, and he's going to be guarded by 4s almost every time because of the threat of the three-point shot, then, you know, that we've got to be able to play through him in the post. And I think one of the strengths of our team is cutting. So if we can utilize him as a passer out of the post and a scoring threat, that helps us.